When life begins to feel unfamiliar, when the path you once knew suddenly bends in a direction you did not plan, it is not chaos, it is alignment. Shifts do not come to punish, they come to awaken. The places you have outgrown cannot hold the person you are becoming. Every change, no matter how unsettling, is an invitation to step into the life you were always meant to live. Sometimes the shift begins with a loss, sometimes with an opportunity, sometimes with silence. Each is a sign that the old structure is being dismantled so a new one can rise. But readiness is not about having everything figured out. It is about trusting that every step will appear as you walk forward. The greatest challenge in any divine shift is letting go of what was. We hold on to the familiar because it feels safe, forgetting that comfort can also be a cage. The longer you cling, the heavier you feel. The moment you release, you make room for what is truly yours. This shift is not about moving faster, but about moving deeper, listening more, noticing more, being willing to stand in uncertainty without rushing to escape it. Because only in uncertainty can new directions emerge, and when the shift is complete, you will not only see a different path, you will see a different you, stronger, wiser, more aligned. The question is not whether the shift is coming, it already has. The question is, when it comes, will you be ready to walk through the door without looking back? When the ground beneath you feels as if it is moving, when familiar routines begin to crumble, the mind rushes to call it chaos. But what if it is not chaos at all? What if it is alignment disguised as disorder? A divine shift does not arrive with explanations. It does not send you a polite notice before it rearranges the furniture of your life. It comes quietly, sometimes violently, breaking apart what you thought was secure, so it can guide you toward what is true. Alignment is not about making the world around you bend to your will. It is about bringing yourself into harmony with a greater design. This is why it often feels uncomfortable, because it requires you to release the patterns and paths that no longer fit the shape of your future. Imagine a river changing course. The water must first push against the earth, carving new lines, unsettling the landscape. Yet, over time, the new path becomes natural, and the flow finds peace again. In these moments, the temptation is to resist. You cling to what you know, even when it is no longer serving you, because the unfamiliar feels unsafe. But alignment often asks you to step into the unknown before you understand it. It asks you to trust that there is a current beneath the surface, carrying you exactly where you need to be. Look closely and you will notice signs, subtle nudges, repeated patterns, doors closing without reason, new possibilities appearing in unexpected places. These are not coincidences, they are guideposts. They remind you that every disruption has a purpose. You are being shifted not because you are lost, but because you are ready for a higher place, even if you do not yet feel ready. When you stop naming it chaos and start seeing it as alignment, everything changes. Fear gives way to curiosity. Anxiety softens into anticipation. You begin to walk with the understanding that what is leaving is not your loss. It is your liberation. And in that space of surrender, you allow the shift to do what it came to do. Align your life with the truth you were always meant to live. When a divine shift begins, it rarely starts with something grand and obvious. Often it begins with a discomfort so small you try to ignore it. A job that no longer inspires you, a relationship that drains more than it gives, a place that once felt like home, now feeling too small. These quiet discomforts are not accidents. They are whispers meant to prepare you for what is coming. If you ignore them, they grow louder. What was once a mild unease becomes a restlessness you cannot explain. This restlessness is not meant to punish you. It is meant to wake you. It stirs your spirit so you cannot remain asleep in a life that has already served its purpose. It makes it impossible to stay in spaces that no longer match the person you are becoming. The shift is rarely about what you lose. It is about what you outgrow. A seed does not remain a seed forever. When it begins to sprout, it must break through its shell. From the outside, this might look like destruction, but from within, it is simply the next stage of life. In the same way, the situations, people, and habits that once sheltered you may now become too tight to contain your growth. You may feel tempted to shrink back into what is familiar, because stepping beyond it feels uncertain. But what you feel is not danger, it is expansion. The discomfort is proof that you are moving toward a bigger version of yourself. It is the stretching of your capacity, the widening of your vision, the deepening of your strength. Sometimes, the divine shift will separate you from people who cannot walk the next part of your journey with you. It may pull you away from environments that keep you small. It may even challenge your identity, forcing you to question who you are without the titles, roles, or masks you have worn. All of this is preparation. The shedding is necessary so that you can step into the weight of what is coming without being anchored to what is behind. Discomfort is not the enemy, it is the invitation. It is the signal that the ground beneath you is moving because you are no longer meant to stand still. The more you lean into it, the more you begin to see that the very things you once feared losing were never the foundation. They were only the starting point. The real foundation is being built now, inside you, where no storm can take it away. When the shift begins to happen, you will notice that doors start opening, doors you didn't even know existed. These are not random coincidences, they are divine alignment. The people you meet, the opportunities that arise, the unexpected ideas that come into your mind, they all appear as if they were always meant to, yet at the exact moment you are ready to see them. This is because preparation and timing walk hand in hand. If you had met these moments earlier, you might have dismissed them, doubted them, or simply not been able to hold them. The shift brings with it a series of seemingly small but significant signs, a conversation that sparks a vision, a message that arrives at just the right time, a chance meeting that plants the seed of a new possibility. These moments are not just nice coincidences. They are confirmations that you are being positioned for something greater. The alignment of these signs is the language of the unseen, speaking to you through life itself. But here's the challenge. Recognizing these signs requires awareness. If your mind is trapped in fear or your heart is heavy with doubt, you will miss them. You will walk past opportunities disguised as inconveniences. You will dismiss people who were meant to guide you forward. To truly see what is unfolding, you must keep your spirit open and your attention sharp. Not every open door will be yours to walk through, and not every closed door is a rejection. Sometimes the shift places a closed door in your path to redirect you toward the one that was made for you. If you judge the process too soon, you may think you are losing, when in reality you are being guided. The divine shift does not operate according to human impatience. It moves with precision, ensuring that what is meant for you cannot pass you by. You will also find that as these doors appear, your old fears will try to return. They will whisper that you are not ready, that you will fail, that the risk is too great. But the presence of fear is not a sign to stop. It is proof that you are standing at the edge of something significant. The fear will fade the moment you step through and see that the path was already prepared for you. The shift does not just give you opportunities, it shapes you to match them. Every open door is both a blessing and a responsibility. It is an invitation to rise into the person capable of walking through it. The only question is whether you will hesitate at the threshold or trust that every step forward has already been accounted for. When the shift is upon you, one of the clearest signs is that certain relationships begin to fade away. This is not an accident, and it is not cruelty. It is a natural part of divine realignment. Some people were only meant to walk with you for a season, and their chapter in your story has reached its conclusion. Holding on to them out of habit or fear will only weigh you down when you are meant to move forward with lightness. You may notice conversations becoming forced, energy feeling heavy, and connections that once felt warm now turning distant. This can create confusion, especially when there is no dramatic conflict to explain the change. But not all endings are loud. Some are quiet, gentle releases that happen because your paths are no longer meant to run parallel. The shift separates you from what cannot grow with you, even if your emotions resist it. This part of the journey often tests your willingness to trust the process. Letting go is rarely comfortable. It can make you question whether you are making a mistake. Yet, in the silence that follows, you will find clarity. The space created by the absence of what is no longer aligned allows room for the right people to enter. Sometimes the only reason your blessings have not found you is because the space they were meant to fill is already occupied. It's important to remember that not all who leave are enemies. Some departures are blessings in disguise. They make way for new connections, deeper understanding, and truer companionship. You may not see it immediately, but over time you will realize that these shifts were protecting you from stagnation. Every relationship carries a frequency, and when yours rises, those not aligned will either grow with you or drift away. Instead of clinging to what is leaving, honor it. Be grateful for what it brought into your life, for the lessons it taught, and for the ways it shaped you. Then, release it with an open hand, trusting that what is meant to remain will never need to be forced. This letting go is not loss, it is preparation. It is the universe clearing the stage so that those who belong in your next act can step forward. And while it may feel lonely in the transition, understand that loneliness is simply the space between what has been and what is coming. When the shift reaches its peak, you will feel an undeniable pull to step into unknown territory. This is the moment where the familiar no longer satisfies and the comfortable no longer feels safe. It is as though an invisible hand is guiding you forward, yet offering no map. This can stir uncertainty because the human mind craves control, but transformation rarely comes with clear instructions. It comes with a quiet invitation to trust what you cannot yet see. You may feel restless in places where you once felt at home. You may sense that your dreams have outgrown the container they were placed in. The opportunities that once seemed impressive may now feel too small for what you are becoming. It is not arrogance, it is alignment. Your soul recognizes that the next chapter requires you to stretch beyond the limits of the present one. This stage demands courage, because stepping into the unknown means leaving behind the safety of the shoreline. The waters ahead may look deep and unpredictable, yet that is exactly where growth lies. Every great transformation has a moment where you must walk forward without proof, trusting that each step will reveal the next stone beneath your feet. Along the way, fear will whisper its warnings. It will tell you to wait until you feel ready. But readiness is often a myth. Growth begins not when all doubts are gone, but when you take the step in spite of them. The shift is a test of faith, a call to believe that the same force that brought you this far will not abandon you now. As you move forward, signs will appear in unexpected forms, a chance meeting, a sudden opportunity, a door opening just as another closes. They are reminders that you are being guided. Your role is not to control the path, but to stay in motion, open to where it leads. The unknown will not always feel comfortable, but comfort is not the goal. Becoming who you are meant to be is. Eventually, you will look back and see that the uncertainty was never a void. It was a womb. Every step you took into the unfamiliar was shaping you for a life you could not have built from within the walls of the familiar. And in that realization, you will understand that the unknown was never something to fear. It was always where your future had been waiting. Every shift that comes into your life is not there to destroy you, but to awaken you. The changes, the endings, the new beginnings, they are not random. They are the movements of a greater design, positioning you for the life you were created to live. What feels uncertain now will one day make perfect sense. All that is asked of you is trust. Trust in the timing, trust in the process, and trust that you are being led towards something far greater than anything you have imagined.